Pretty much anybody that knows anything about comedy knows about George Carlin. And if you know much about George Carlin, you know about his act, The Seven Dirty Words. What you might not know much about is when he got arrested in 1972 for his performance of The Seven Dirty Words. He was scheduled to play in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on July 21st, 1972 at a very, very big concert festival called Summerfest. It was a big thing. But Carlin, while performing his Seven Dirty Words act, was arrested on stage, and this incident sparked a whole lot of debate on the free speech issue and what a person can and can't do on stage. He was arrested by a man named Elmer Lenz, who was a Milwaukee police officer, a police patrolman at the time, and his point of view on the situation is fairly well documented.
Who comes on but George Carlin? And didn't mean much to me until he opened his mouth and I heard all this foul, profane language. It really shocked me. And I'm thinking, here my 7-year-old son is in the audience.
This is the arrest report which he filed. Carlin did on July 21st, 1972, at the Summerfest grounds located on the lakefront in the city of Milwaukee, while performing before a large gathering including minor children, ranging in age from infancy to the upper teens, used as part of his act the words fuck, fucker, motherfucker, cocksucker, asshole, and furthermore did direct to this aforementioned gathering during his performances the statement, "I'd like to fuck each and every one of you people out there." So, his point of view is out there, obviously. You know, you can find it in the papers. It's even a large part of his obituary. But I find it interesting to also get the point of view of my dad, who was an undercover police officer at the time. He was working with the Vice Squad of the Milwaukee Police Department.
This is before George Carlin went on stage, this picture.
Yeah.
And so... Is that you?
Oh, yeah.
That's you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, you're skinny. And so, who are these two guys?
Chris Linsky and Lewis.
You guys
That
are
was
walking in.
that was a picture taken by one of those photographers who just takes pictures and then gives you his ticket. I remember now who was the executive director of Summerfest that year. It was Henry Jordan, who was a retired Green Bay Packer. He died later that year or the next year of a heart attack, as I recall. Great player, good guy. And we met with Henry early in the day, just letting him know we were there, because he couldn't believe we were cops. And he was just so thankful. My understanding is that the chief was aware of threats to disrupt the festival by insurgents, and that was probably believable because of the turmoil of the times. There was other stuff going on in Milwaukee. We were ordered by our captain to get down to Summerfest and check in at the police tent and infiltrate the crowd, look for suspicious activities, suspicious packages, things like that. So we did. We also had a few beers. They had a very tough police chief called Harold Breyer. He said this does not go on in Milwaukee. And so he was going to protect the kind citizens of Milwaukee from this malcontent Carlin. His office ordered Elmer Lenz to be ready and get that son of a bitch off the stage if he starts this stuff. And so Elmer, who worked at number one, he didn't like Carlin for some reason. He really believed in this ordinance and the society not changing. And so he nabbed Carlin off the stage. And I was dumbfounded that he did that, because I was right there. And I looked, we got more important shit to do, you know? There were a lot of boos from the crowd. I remember that. It's kind of funny. I read somewhere that Carlin called Elmer years later and thanked him for launching his career. Elmer said he hated that too. It really pissed him off. But Carlin said, as I recall, there was a quote somewhere that I never thought I could get thrown in jail for just saying something. And he said, that's really scary.
I didn't know there were, but it wouldn't have changed anything I did if I had known there were children in the audience. In fact, I think children need to hear those words the most because as yet they don't have the hang-ups. It's adults who are locked into certain, thought patterns. But as I say, the idea of the material is to show the 7 words you can't say on television. Out of 400,000 words in the English language, there are 7 that right now I can't say to you that you couldn't run on the air, and yet they're merely words. And so I use them in explaining that and in making fun of that ironic situation. And so I find it kind of funny to be hassled for using them when my intention is to free us from hassling people for using them.